Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Chris. Today's video is all about head-turning perfumes. Perfumes that get attention, that literally cause people to stop, turn around, ask me what I'm wearing, or in some cases, chase me down. I already filmed 2 videos this afternoon. I had time for one more, and I asked my daughter, hey Holly, I have time for one more video. What should I do? Should I do the best gourmands? Should I do the best designers? Or should I do head turners? And she said, oh mom, do head turners. So head turners it is. So head turners it is, and I'm just going to jump right in. The first perfume that I pulled is definitely a head turner, and this is one of the very few fragrances that somebody has actually tracked me down the hall into a set of offices to find out what I was wearing. Now, it's not a perfume for everybody because it is a rose patchouli chypre, and a lot of times, or chypre, people don't prefer that type of fragrance because they think it comes off a little bit vintage. I personally find those perfumes quite lovely and elegant, but there's a time and a place. But one of my very, very favorites is right here, Gris Dior. I just adore this perfume. I've loved it for so long. Again, it's a rose patchouli chypre. So it's got some citruses in the top. It's very bright. It's effervescent. There's a really nice rose. Gosh, it's so pretty and elegant. Rose, patchouli, and oak moss, and a little bit of, I think, sandalwood in the base. I'm not sure why this is a big compliment getter and turns heads, because this is a rose-based perfume, and not everybody loves rose-based perfumes, but it is just composed so well that there's something so elegant about it, and it has a lovely sillage. The sillage on this is just phenomenal. It's why people track me down and to ask me what I'm wearing. It's a perfume that I could definitely wear year-round. It would be one I would consider a signature scent. I don't have to think about this one. I could wear it in any situation. It's lovely and has decent performance, but if you're looking for a gorgeous modern take on a rose patchouli chypre, this is my very favorite. So the next one is another one that I have worn to work in the past. You know, it's like everything, know your audience. I haven't worn this in a long, long time, but it's still a really beautiful perfume, even though I think a lot of people have kind of gotten sick of it and moved on. I haven't. It's beautiful. It is 100 Silent Ways by Nishan or Nishane. This has white florals in it, but it's not a white floral in your face. There's nothing indolic. It has a beautiful, smooth, soft vanilla. It's got sandalwood and a delicious amber. A lot of people have asked me, does this smell like black opium? And I'm going to say no, because black opium, the original black opium, does not work for me. Are there similarities? Well, sure. I can see why people think that they smell the same, but this one has such a better vanilla. There's a little bit of fruits. There's a little bit of peach. The florals aren't as loud. It's got a nice sandalwood. It's creamier, and it doesn't have that sticky, sweet, syrupy sweetness that opium does, that black opium does, that I not my favorite. I don't particularly care for. Gorgeous compliment getter. People ask what I'm wearing, and it has lovely, lovely sillage and longevity. I adore it. I need to wear it more. Okay, the next one is a perfume that I was literally stopped in the dressing room at the gym, Lifetime Fitness. I was getting ready for a class, and a young gal, she was probably like, I want to say late teens, early 20s, walked past my little row, stopped, turned around, came back, looked at me. I was the only one in my little cubby, or my little section, and looked me straight in the face and said, you smell so good. Do you mind if I ask you what perfume you are wearing? I was wearing Gris Charnel Extrait on one hand and the original Gris Charnel on the other. It was one of my crazy testing days. And I told her I was wearing 2 different perfumes. I put my arms out and I said, which do you like better? And she said, I don't know. I like them both. However, I tend to like this one much better. I wear this to work, and this, every time I wear this, 2 of my coworkers, shout out to Kelsey, says, you smell, Chris, you smell so good. I love it. It's very sweet. It's woody and spicy. So this does stay true to the original notes of the original Gris Charnel, you know, tea, sandalwood, spices, fig. But to me, I get a beautiful vanilla in the dry down. I don't even know if vanilla is listed, but I get vanilla. There's a beautiful non-foody vanilla in the dry down, and the spices come out a little bit more, and it's got the most gorgeous soft but strong sandalwood. So it is a prominent sandalwood to me, but it's not overbearing and it doesn't take over the fragrance. Absolutely love my Gris Charnel, a head turner. Another head turner is one of my 10 for life, and it reminds me of something in the same realm of Gris Charnel. It's got spices, it's woody, it's really good in the cold weather. It is one of my all-time go-tos, Ivory Route. I never would have anticipated that this would garner the compliments that it does. I mean, I don't wear perfumes to get compliments, but I'm telling you, this one gets compliments every single time. This was my scent of the day yesterday. I was just living in a beautiful bubble of my own fragrance goodness, and I had half the people that I was working with tell me how good I smell. One of my coworkers never says I smell good. In fact, she only likes fruity fragrances. She only likes like fruity, floral, Ariana Grande type fragrances. She's a very young coworker. She always says I smell like a grandpa. She always says I smell like a grandma. Like everything's grandpa, grandma perfume. I walked in, we were doing a procedure together, and she said, "Ooh, you smell good today." I just about dropped over. Cheyenne, shout out to you. I was wearing Ivory Route. I never would have guessed it because it doesn't have any of the components that she typically enjoys, but it's just a gorgeous smelling perfume. It smells so good in the air. I've yammered on and on about this, but it's spices, it's sandalwood, there is an herbal note, there's patchouli, I think a little basil. I definitely get incense. This is definitely incensey. You know, these Xerjoff perfumes, a lot of their notes are vaulted. It doesn't list incense. I definitely get a lovely, very slight smoky incense. And in fact, 2 people who smelled this on me, Pat and a coworker, said, I smell incense. So it's definitely there, and I definitely pick up on it. But the gorgeous thing is it has a really, I call it a sneaky vanilla. And my colleague, my coworker, my picky coworker who never likes anything says, "Oh, it smells good. I smell vanilla." So everybody picks up on a little bit something different, but the combination of notes is so incredibly gorgeous to me. And for whatever reason, shockingly, a crowd pleaser and a head turner, my lovely Ivory Route. Next, I'm going to talk about perfumes that you will announce yourself down the hall and around the corner. People will smell you before you enter the room. The first one is Hibiscus Mahajad. This is a rose hibiscus perfume with a lot of vanilla, like a huge dollop of vanilla ice cream. There's a little bit of mint in here, and the rose in here is prominent. I mean, I definitely detect it, but it's the type of rose for a non-rose lover. I know people who are not fond of the note of rose, particularly in perfumes, that adore this fragrance. And I think it's because it's got a little bit of that hibiscus, and it has a lovely, lovely vanilla that's prominent and sweet, but you're not going to smell like a rose ice cream cone. This thing is a beast. 2 sprays, literally 2 to 3 sprays. I've had people smell me down the hall and around the corner. Huge compliment getter, head turner. The second one that announces itself before you walk into the room is one of my all-time favorites, Delina Exclusif, another rose, lychee, vanilla combination. It does have some oud. It does have some incense. I'm telling you, those are so in the background. So if you see those in the notes, I would say almost ignore them because you really can't smell them unless you really dig your nose into your arm or wherever you sprayed, but it does not come off in the sillage. It does not come off in the air, really only your clothes if you really look for that note. But my favorite of the Delina line, I love Delina Exclusif. That to me is exclusively a summer perfume, another head turner compliment getter, but that one is for the summer. This one I adore in the colder weather, even though you could wear it year round. I would want to be in air conditioning. I spray this in my hair, and when I spray this in my hair, it's 24 hours later. It's still lingering, and on the clothes, 12 hours. Love my Delina Exclusif. Next, I've got 3 perfumes by the House of Initio that have been head turners for me. The first one is more of a freshie. It is Musk Therapy. So this is an orange, blackcurrant, hedione, a little bit of magnolia perfume with sandalwood. It's not a super complex fragrance. Of course, it's got musk, and I don't know why it smells so good with some simple notes and not being complex, but it is a crowd pleaser. I absolutely love it. I find it very addicting, very comforting. I wore this at Topgolf. When I had a work function to go to, I wanted to wear something that was pretty but not offensive, and it would work well, and you could still smell it outside. So I was outside. I had one coworker tell me how good I smelled, and the server who was serving us food and drinks went up to me and said, "Excuse me, miss, you smell so good. Can I ask you what you're wearing?" And it was Musk Therapy. And this is another one that has terrific lasting power, and it lasted all throughout the night, and I could still smell it by the time I got home. The next one is what I would call, this is Delina's slightly sexy older sister. This is Atomic Rose. There is something about this perfume that is like man voodoo. I can't explain it, but every time I wear it, I have men that I know that never compliment me on my perfume get up the courage to ask me what I'm wearing. And even Pat, who doesn't always compliment me on Rose perfumes, he doesn't like them all, but he certainly likes several of them. Another one he loves is this one right here, Gris Dior. He said, "Oh wow, Chrissy, what are you wearing? That is a gorgeous perfume. Wear that for date night for sure." And it's Atomic Rose. There are some differences. There are definite differences between this and Delina. I don't get the bitterness that I get in Delina. And maybe it's the helium, maybe it's the aroma chemicals that they have in here, but it's spectacular. Another one that lasts forever. And my gourmand fragrance from Ivory Parfums that literally people have followed me into a doctor's office room to ask me what I was wearing. Absolute Aphrodisiac. I have been said that I smell like cake pops, chocolate chip cookie dough, and brownies when I wear this. Everybody gets something a little bit different. I get kind of a hot brownie a la mode with ice cream because it definitely has a lot of vanilla. I mean, this is a vanilla-based perfume. This is a vanilla perfume that's musky and has the slightest touch of an animalic something. It's got notes in here that normally I will never buy a perfume that contain notes of civet. I just find that note unappealing to me. In the few fragrances that I have or have owned that contain civet, I don't like it. Lamar is one of them, because that civet note goes right to my brain. It just gives it a nice, I don't know, maybe subtle sexiness. So this is a sexy vanilla musk that definitely has a gourmand edge to it, and I absolutely love it. Florals are listed in the note profile. I get 0 florals in this. So a musky gourmand vanilla head turner, another one that lasts 12 hours at least. Absolute Aphrodisiac. Okay, I'm down to the last 3. Now this isn't a complete list, but these are just the ones I grabbed and put in the little video box. The next one is the perfume that has the best sillage of all time. And if you are new to perfumes or new to perfume terminology, sillage is the scent that you smell in the air when somebody walks by with perfume. So they walk by you and that little hit of perfume, that's called someone's sillage. The best sillage, the perfume that creates the best sillage, in my opinion, of all time is this beauty right here, Baccarat Rouge 540. This is my second bottle. I know a lot of people are sick of it. I know people say I smell it everywhere. I live in the Midwest in a city where we don't smell it everywhere. We hardly ever smell it. I think it's been like 6 months since I've smelled it in the community. And on Christmas Eve, we were out to dinner. We were at a sushi restaurant, and me and my daughter were sitting there. We were with our family, and a big party was seated next to us, and all of a sudden, I got this sillage in my face, and I was like, that's BR 540. And I turned to my daughter, who used to not like Baccarat 540, and I said, somebody at that table just sat down and is wearing Baccarat 540, and she said, I know, I smelt it too. It is the most recognizable scent profile or perfume, in my opinion, and one of the best-selling perfumes of all time. I mean, obviously, not everyone's going to love it. Some people hate it. And there's not a single perfume that I know of. If you do, let me know down below in the comments that every single person loves. And I will take all my money that's in the bank account and I will invest it into that perfume, because that perfume doesn't exist. I'm going to have people in the comments saying, I don't like Baccarat for 40. I hate it. Of course, not all perfumes are for everybody, but to me, it's very special. It is one of the few masterpieces in my collection and has the most amazing sillage. It's that something about that amber wood, cotton candy freshness that I find so attractive and addictive. And like I said, my daughter for the longest time loved every single perfume in my collection except this one. Guess who loves Baccarat 540 now and who has been wearing it this entire week? Yes, my daughter. So it's never too late to fall in love with this classic beauty with the best sillage of all time. And one of my most complimented perfumes. People follow me to ask me what I'm wearing, and the few times that I've worn it to work, a few people will say, "Oh, I love that perfume. You're wearing that special perfume, aren't you?" And I know exactly what they're talking about. It's really a one of a kind as long as you don't live somewhere where everyone's wearing it or everyone is wearing some sort of dupe. So the next one was a surprise to me as well, and it is the beauty called Lamar here. This is a gorgeous pineapple floral with spices. The pineapple in here is not super fresh. It is dripping and grilled. So it's very, very juicy, but it's on the riper side. And to me, it almost has this caramelized sweetness to this. This has lots of florals. I want to say rose and jasmine are the most prominent. Sometimes I get rose more than others, and other times I definitely pick up the jasmine, but fortunately it is smoothed out with this gorgeous, sweet, caramelized pineapple, and it has some spices up in the top and a lovely woody base, like an ambery woody base. Huge, huge compliment getter. I would have never anticipated it, but I do wear this out. I do wear this to some gatherings, and I have worn this to work, and let me tell you, compliment getter. Head turner right here. And the last one is my most demure of the head turners, but this is a humongous compliment getter. It is called Morning After, and this has won over the heart of one of my pickiest colleagues of all time, Terry. She only likes rose, like tea rose. When I wear this, she absolutely loves it, so much so that out of all the perfumes I've worn, I've worked with Terry for over 10 years. She's never asked me to make a decant of anything. She asked me to make a decant of this one. I made a decant, and she ended up buying a bottle. It is, in my opinion, a feminine take on Santal 33. So Santal 33 definitely has this pickle thing going on. I smell it on other people. Fortunately, that pickle does not come out on me. This has a freshness, but it's papyrus or it's violet leaf, which gives it the slightest bit of a cucumbery freshness, but it never goes in the pickle zone. It gets close, but it's still like that cucumbery freshness. It has cardamom, so it's nice and spicy. It has a warmth, and this one has a beautiful vanilla in the dry down. I do not think vanilla is listed, but I'm telling you, there is a soft, sweet, bordering on gourmand vanilla in the base, so it is a woody vanilla with spices and some freshness. And I find it absolutely gorgeous, pretty close to a year-round scent. Could definitely be a signature scent, and has been a compliment getter and head turner from some of my pickiest critics, Terry and my mother alike. So that was it, a quick wrap up of my head turners, my compliment getters, fragrances that will announce yourself before you walk into the room, will have people turning their heads and asking you what you're wearing, even though we all know we wear fragrances for the most part for us, but compliments don't hurt. I mean, when somebody tells me they think my hair looks pretty or they like my outfit, that always puts a smile on my face. The same goes for perfumes. I love it when someone tells me that I smell pretty or they like what I'm wearing. It always makes me put my shoulders back, puts a little pep in my step and a big smile on my face. And with that, I'm finished with my compliment getters, my head turners. I'd love to hear about your head turners or your favorite head turners in the comments below. Thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.